Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. It's a really special Thursday night edition, and we weren't going to get on here tonight, there for a bit, but life happens, and sometimes we just keep on rocking and rolling. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me, as always, my co-host Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
I'm good. So
You look like you're at work.
Thursday. I am at work. Still working.
Never stops. Hey, he's gotta bring home the bacon. So we're gonna get right into it. Probably be a really quick show, but we're definitely coming Sunday with our bowl special. You won't want to miss that one Sunday at 7 p.m. And
Can't
what
wait.
has happened, a lot has happened since Sunday, our last show on Sunday. Mainly, we won another national championship. It just seems to happen at Clemson every so often.
Yeah, it was for those of you out there that did not watch the Tiger Clemson United soccer program.
Clemson United.
The first goal was absolutely beautiful, and the second one was pretty beautiful too. But Notre Dame was really good, and Clemson, found a way to win. It was awesome.
Yep, I did watch it, and I missed that first goal initially, but obviously saw the replay. And do not. I enjoy watching Clemson play anything. And, when it's an intense game, it was a physical game. It was a fun game to watch. But I am not going to claim to know the rules of soccer. And there were plenty of times I was like, what happened there? But it was fun. I watched the quarter semifinal game as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I learned that one thing I did know, or at least I thought I knew, is about the clock. But in college, they don't have the injury time after the clock runs out. It's just whenever the clock runs out, that's it. High school's different, right?
Well, yeah. So here's what I tell, and we have very, very, very good soccer programs here.
Mm-hmm.
Our boys played in the state championship last year, and we're always knocking on the door, girls and boys. But it's the most inexact thing we do. Is soccer timing. Besides spotting a football after a play.
Yeah.
And, even soccer, the kids at halftime, they'll go in the locker room and they'll put like 10 minutes on the clock, and they may or may not come out. And they don't start the second half until everybody's out there. Like, there's no penalty for not being out there.
Right.
But that's why I like college soccer. The referee actually will stop the clock, and exactly how much time is left.
Very good. Yeah, well, I learned that, but didn't learn much other stuff because I don't watch it enough. Excuse me, but it was definitely fun to watch, and we are extremely proud of Clemson United, the men's soccer team, winning another national championship.
I will say this. I know more about soccer than you do. I can safely say that.
Oh, yeah, there's no
We
doubt.
were outplayed for the majority of the second half, but that doesn't matter. It's how many times you put the ball in the net.
Yeah, you don't have to know about soccer to tell. They call them shots on goal still, just like hockey. Now I watch hockey a little bit. That were like, I think one went off the rim.
They had some chances.
I mean, it was very inches. Still, it was another game of inches. Speaking of a game of inches, we have two new football coaches on the staff that are working with the team, and the reports coming out of Tiger Town is that very positive reports. They've interviewed those coaches and interviewed those position players, and everything coming out of that is looking good so far. And it's one of those things where, we live in a microwave society. We have some patience, and Dabo makes some moves, and you never know. It's still not even the off season yet. What Dabo might do to get us one step closer, a big step better next year.
I actually received a little bit of intel today.
Let's hear it.
And I won't mention any names, but I was told that the new O-line coach, Coach Luke, who used to be the head coach at Ole Miss and used to work at Georgia, and this came from another position coach within the program, that he was one of the best he'd ever seen.
I have heard that. That's what was said when he was hired, that he was legit, big time. So very excited about that.
That was a weakness at times for our team this year. So let's go.
Yep, let's go. It was a rebuilding year, and all started.
You need to watch his press conference too if you haven't, because he talks about how his terminology and Clemson's terminology currently are different. But he has like a translator, like, well, what does this mean if they say this? And so he knows what it is. He just doesn't know exactly what we're calling it. So anyway,
that's important.
It's pretty interesting.
Well, and his story is interesting too. How he got out of coaching for a while and now he's back. So if you hadn't read that, find that article as well. So we're excited about that. I got to bring down this was a thing before Sunday, but we didn't talk about it. And I know you know about it, but I just want to bring this up. A baseball player signed a $700 million contract.
Okay, well, first of all, it's the baseball player.
The baseball player.
Shohei Ohtani, who is not only a Cy Young candidate at pitcher, he is a 350 hitter with 50 home runs every year. He's a freak of nature.
He's the dual threat of baseball.
So he got a 10-year contract worth $700 million, which equals $70 million a year, but he's deferring $68 million of it so the Dodgers stay under the luxury tax.
Well, it's very, very generous of him.
All right, so but here's why he's doing that. One, he wants to win, so they can go sign more people. Two, he already makes $40 to $50 million a year in endorsements. He's the most popular athlete from Japan almost ever.
Well, congratulations. And I am definitely that just goes to show you kids, there's a lot of money out there, and a market value, more power to him. But that is a lot of money.
You think he'll want to be on the podcast? Maybe.
We'll see.
I'll reach out.
Hopefully we won't have to pay him anything. All right. So we texted a little bit about this. Speaking of reaching out, earlier today, Bailey and I, and just for us, and we haven't done this. We talked about how we do this sometimes on the podcast. We are planning on going to Jacksonville, and your daughter's cheering. Or do we have plans yet? Do we have tailgate plans? Because that's what this show's all about.
We don't have plans yet.
Are there events that she has to attend leading up to the game?
Probably the day before and probably the day of. So we'll probably try to do, because we're making this this is Katie's last hoorah trip. We'll probably have to kind of see what her schedule looks like and go to some of the things that she's at. But, anytime there's a bowl game, there's going to be a pep rally, there's going to be an alumni party, and those are all cool things to go to, be part of.
Yeah, I sent Bailey the information about, and we've had Bubba on here. It was last football season with the Clemson Alumni Association, Bubba Britton, if you know him. And those Clemson family tailgates they sell out fast. And this one looks pretty legit. Apparently it's in a portion of the stadium, and they're going to have the bay doors up where you can see the field. I don't know about walking out there or whatever, but it said you could actually see out onto the field at that stadium. So that looked pretty cool. So find the Clemson Alumni Association Facebook page and it'll link or whatever. And the Fun Fans may or may not be there. So we have not made our plans yet. Maybe we'll definitely know a little sooner. I'm thinking about spending some time on the beach. We're going to be close enough. There might be a little trip to the ocean.
Well, last year I did talk to some Gamecock fans who went last year, and their one of the parties that they went to the day before the game, pep rally type situations, was out on the beach. So that's a possibility too. I'll just have to kind of get Katie's schedule to see what's going on.
And I'll reach out to our boy Grayson Marshall, who has also been on the show. He lives in Jacksonville. So
true.
He said, I was messaging him about bowl games, and he said, hey, if they come to Jacksonville, we'll hook up. So never know what could happen. It's going to be a fun time for anybody that's going. Last bit of news that I just thought was very interesting, and I read the headline and a little bit of the article, so you may or may not have heard this, and so tell me if I missed something. But Texas's second-string quarterback has opted out of the playoff game.
I guess I have not seen that, but it doesn't surprise me, man. Come on.
So I may have, if somebody out there saying, oh, you got it wrong, I don't know if he entered a but they didn't say transfer portal. That's pretty clear when they're doing that. Something that was said, either he's opting out or sitting out or something, and for the college football playoff. So that would be, we remember a handful of years ago, the first opt out of any bowl game. And I'm pretty sure this would, even though it's a backup, I mean, it's the college football playoffs. It's got to be the first opt out of a college football playoff.
Well, he's probably thinking, okay, I'm going to transfer. I don't want to go through a month of practice to not play and then try to transfer somewhere else. That would be my guess. Speaking of transfer portal, the Gamecocks are killing the transfer portal right now.
In a good way or a bad way?
They're getting players in there. Now, they lost a ton.
They lost 20.
Some back.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I actually received a text today from a Gamecock assistant coach who was recruiting a player and was at a basketball practice and said, this practice reminds me of when we worked together and I was your assistant coach coaching basketball. He said, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
So we communicated briefly, but they are having a good year on the transfer portal.
In the portal. Yeah, there's I'm hearing from some of the other fanboy podcasters and writers that Notre Dame and NC State are it's a lot of turnover, like you're saying about the Gamecocks, but they're getting some very high quality. Bo Collins is going to Notre Dame. So,
well, more importantly, Riley Leonard's going.
Yes, that was big. I'm surprised he didn't follow his coach to A&M.
Well, and State, I heard on the radio today, if you're in the Charlotte area, listen to 92.7 WFNZ because they're tired of talking about how bad the Panthers are and how bad the Hornets are. So they're talking about college football transfer portal some, and they said NC State was killing it. So good for them. Good luck to them when they come to the Valley next year.
Yeah, it'll be. My theory is, after some amount of years, it will be determined how to use the portal in a positive way, et cetera, et cetera. Some folks are jumping all over it. Some folks, we'll see.
There will be. This is what people don't see. There will be hundreds of kids left in the transfer portal with no place to go.
Yeah, everybody says that. And I'll make a prediction. My prediction in the whole thing is it's going to turn into one of those live by the portal, die by the portal.
Right.
That's my guess.
It's rented help. It's what it is. You're leasing help for a season or two.
Yeah. So it's maybe good. And you might be good. Even if you have a good portal year, I'm not sure that that's always going to lead to, and it could lead to like a really bad season. But I don't know. Like I said, yet to be seen. Mm-hmm. But I also thought that if the quarterback for Texas with the playoffs being, kind of into January, it's got to have something to do with transferring, because tell me if I'm wrong. The reason the portal opens when it does, and it's before the bowl games and all that mess.
So they go second semester.
So the second semester in school. So there's still a little bit, just a little bit has to do with actual school in college football now. So that might have something to do with,
with
his
potential moving forward. A potential idea would be, hey, let's don't open it until after the bowl games. And you can't start practicing with your new school until the freshmen come in the fall. There's got to be a penalty of some sort, because it's killing high school kids too. It's killing them.
There's got to be a little bit of dialing back.
We have Division I high school kids taking Division II offers so they get a free year of school, knowing that they're going to try to transfer to a D1 school if they have a good year at the D2 school.
I wouldn't care if the kids sat out of school a semester and practiced with their.
It is absolutely killing high school. It's just a trickle down. So
yeah, anyway. Well, and the COVID year is extra
bad
in the rear end of the high school kids. But I would still love to see the postseason, the bowl games in college football have all the players and let the transfer portal open up. And if they transfer, just let them start. I mean, they let them start practice in the spring and enroll in classes, whatever. But it's like the season's not over.
What happened to the season being over on January 1st? That was always the last day of the season.
Well, hey, we're with a 12-team playoff. That is definitely not going to happen next year. But
Yeah,
I know,
Clemson's gonna have to put in turf if they host more than one game. Let's put in a whole new
well,
field.
I don't think you can host more than one game the way it's
Okay.
set up now, at least. But
All right.
that's definitely going to be something fun to think about. We need to do a show on the history of the bowl, because with the Florida State being, I'll say this and we'll be done for tonight. With Florida State being left out, it just restarts the whole thought process of why Division I college football does it the way we do it. It's the only sport at any level that doesn't have a quote unquote real 12,
It's
16
all
something.
about those corporate sponsored bowls.
And see, you're the research guy, but we need to find out and do a show on like why it started that way. Why didn't it start with playoffs and the bowl people say, let me sponsor some playoffs?
Okay. I'll look it up.
versus the other way around. Because I love bowls. I love bowl games. I love the pomp and circumstance. I was taking the bowl games when I was a kid by my grandparents, and it's awesome. The players are treated great and blah, blah, blah.
Bowls of cereal and chili are good.
Yeah. But then looking back, the money in the bowls is seemingly what may have held back the actual crowning of a true champion. Anyway, but that's like I said.
Into that. We'll
look into that. So we'll save that for another show. And speaking of the next show, the next one is going to be our 2023 bowl special. We're going to talk about some best tasting bowls. We might talk about the most fun bowls. And I think we're going to match up the mascots. We're going to pick winners if the mascots were to brawl based on the bowl matchup. So look forward to that Sunday at 7:00. That'll be fun. We appreciate you joining us real quick this evening. And on behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, Jay Thrilla Entertainment, and Bailey Jackson,
we out. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.